Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the strange story of the Sparks Marina. The Sparks Marina is a little body of water near where I live that was once a quarry, and here is the story of it. The only story you can really find. It's repeated over and over, and it goes like this. The gravel pit that became a lake. For more than a quarter century, travelers heading west on Interstate 80 knew they had reached the city of Sparks when they passed a big gravel pit. From 1968 to 1995, Helms Gravel Pit, as it was called, provided millions of tons of rock for area road and construction projects. In 1987, however, the pit, which had grown to more than 100 feet deep, was closed when Sparks officials discovered petroleum chemicals and solvents seeping into the hole. They traced the contamination to a massive spill at an oil tank farm located about a mile west. As a result, the pit was designed a toxic Superfund site, and a major cleanup effort was undertaken. The city of Sparks took possession of the site in 1996, and tests showed that the groundwater in the pit was free of petrochemicals and other dangerous substances. At the time, city officials proudly announced plans to convert the former gravel pit into a park and recreational pond. Okay, so that was at 96. So they said it was contaminated in 87. So they shut it down until 96, calling it a Superfund site. And we'll take a look at exactly what a Superfund site means. It means they can do what they want to it. But we'll take a look at that. So they figured, okay, no more chemicals in this amount of time. And of course, you're talking, what are we, 11 years, right? Of course. It takes 11 years to get Uckies out. Okay, so at the time, the city officials proudly announced plans to convert the former gravel pit into a park and recreational pond using millions of dollars in fees and fines paid by those responsible for the contamination. The original idea was to fill the pit with water to a depth approximately 30 feet, which it was estimated might take several years. They want to get 30 foot of water in this pit. It's about 77 acres. 77 acres, get 30 foot deep. It's going to take years to fill up. Right? They're going to put a hose and fill it up. I guess their idea was. So that might take several years. But then along came Mother Nature. In January of 1987, the Reno Sparks area experienced the highest recorded flooding in its history. The Truckee River overflowed its banks, and an estimated 1 billion gallons of water poured into the hole. Overnight, the Sparks gravel pit had become Nevada's newest body of water. So they were looking at several years, but this thing happened overnight, just by chance, right after they decided to go ahead and do it. The unexpected lake, now called Sparks Marina, is now 100 feet deep and covers about 77 acres. Okay, so it's I mean, come on, they got an extra 70 on top of what they were looking for. Okay, so ironically, in order to keep the water at a constant, desirable level every day, the city pumps approximately 2.3 gallons of water from the lake into the Truckee River. Okay, almost 3 gallons. Another report says 3 million gallons a day are pumped out from the bottom of this former quarry. So, as they were operating this quarry from 1968, they must have been pumping out that 2 to 3 million gallons of water every day back then to operate the quarry. Otherwise, it would have filled up. There's a spring at the bottom of this thing. They're not saying that. There's a giant spring. They're just saying, yeah, we got to pump it out. So yeah, you got to pump 2 to 3 million gallons from the bottom of this thing out into the Truckee River, and they introduce fish into the lake, and they have some other really interesting things about it, which is here's another article. Okay, gonna fast look through this thing. There's a see now here you're looking at this pump right here. I worked on these pumps. This thing keeps the water circulating. This thing keeps it. This is what pumps the water out. And I worked on some pumps that actually circulate the water inside the marina. I mean, this thing is planned like crazy. There's some thing about keeping the oxygen here. Okay, so. Oh yeah, there's a jet plane in this in the pit, which is pretty crazy. And they said there's a tagline. Now here is a picture of this thing in after the flooding. You can see water on the other side of this. This is Highway 80, and this is what flooded over and just filled this pit up, this giant quarry. This is how huge this thing was sitting here open. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. There's the sign for Sparks right there. There's Mila. Hi. There's the Sierra Nevada mountain range, Mount Rose in the background there. This is the Sparks Marina. And this is a very interesting history. This didn't exist here before pre-1996. This did not exist. This was, I think it was some kind of quarry or something, some kind of rock quarry. And there was a massive flood in '96. And after the snow melt, there's so much snow melted that it went ahead and destroyed the freeway, flooded over, destroyed 80, and dumped right into this marina here. And flooded this, and it's like a big horseshoe. It goes around that way, and it goes in through that little gate right there into where people can live now. That looks very old back there, but this was you know, we're gonna look into the history of it, but this is one of these type of situations where, you know, they knew this was going to be, they had a year that they were going to flood it, you know, this other type of nonsense. But pretty neat. Some more retaining walls here on this side. I wonder how old these are. And this is what you get. See what you get in Sparks. Let's go right to the sign, take a little picture of the sign here. Oh, look at that, it's pretty cool. Sparks. Dope. I can get that still shot. Okay, I wanted to get that, and then we're gonna get this other one over here. Bruno Skarsaki, that's his tree. Let's see. The last one was the history. And here's the, oh, grading improvements.
Want some water?
Here's the quarry info right here. Okay, perfect. Here's the water, Mama.
No.
Okay, cool. That was good. Two little things about the history of the marina and the history of when it was a quarry. So we found that, and we'll do a little bit of more research. Let's look at this real quick. Two more signs. I like my signs. Let's see. This is the Phantom. Interesting.
Those are rocks. Don't step on it though, you might fall.
So they put this jet in this marina. It's purposely sunk in here.
Nice.
And there it is flying over the pyramid at Pyramid Lake,
Nice.
which you can't go to. On the 4th of July 2001, they submerged this thing with tail number 020. For what reason? It says here. Wow. It's 50 foot deep. Somewhere in there. Wow. To study. Oh yeah. Let's look at this. One more thing. One more little sign. And we've got the birds. This place is for the birds. Water systems have been intercepted and rerouted and put into treatment plants and then perverted and made unhealthy for us. And you have springs like at the bottom of this marina putting out 2 to 3 million gallons of water a day. That's good and healthy for us, and that's just being pumped into the Truckee River and ends up at a government controlled Lake Pyramid. This marina is just another example of how our systems of water distribution, water consumption, the way it gets presented to us is not very useful, not very healthy, and this is just another example of a pre-planned part of the water system that's just totally controlled.